Stop scrolling. Here's how you make your kids love reading. Today, we're gonna encourage how to get your child to love reading without forcing it. So, why does reading matter? Reading opens up the door to countless adventures, experience, and education for their child. Often, the characters that they meet through literature are gonna be their best friends throughout life. How many of us adults here remember Percy Jackson or Harry Potter? Felt connected to them and grew with them. If you want to give your child the ability to experience that same growth through literature, you have to introduce it to them young. Plus, through books, they're able to learn empathy, exploring far-off lands, cultures, fictional and real, all from the comfort of their couch. Beyond broadening their horizon, reading teaches vocabulary and communication skills, meaning they're more effectively able to socialize and talk with you about what they may need to develop. But here's the challenge. In today's bite-sized, tech-driven world, long books are often seen as a chore. Reading competes with screen time for instant gratification. For kids who haven't experienced the joy of getting lost in a story, it's far easier to imagine finishing a TikTok than finishing a book. So, here are some of the most common reasons kids may not enjoy reading. 1, they haven't found the right book. On social media, algorithms feed you exactly what you want to see. If you like dinosaurs, they'll give you dinosaurs. If you like trains, they'll give you trains. With books, you have to go out and find what they want, because they might not even know it. This actually encourages a sense of independence in your child, because they're not being told what to enjoy. They get to discover it for themselves. This is also a fantastic way to open your child up to new experiences. By reading a new story, they may discover a passion they might never have known about. Maybe they'll find they love bugs or they love space, and that would have never been exposed to them if they hadn't read about it. Next up, the format may seem daunting. Social media tailors to short-form content, and even longer-form content is still rarely over 10 to 15 minutes. Books are often multi-day dedications. A text-heavy book may overwhelm young readers. And while a text-heavy book may overwhelm young readers, often older readers feel patronized or like illustrated books are too kiddie. Not to mention, peer influence matters. Kids may pick up a book if they see their friends interested in it, but unfortunately it works in the reverse as well. If kids don't see other children reading, they're likely to see it as uncool and default to what they're doing instead, which is often scrolling. Plus, there's always learning challenges to consider. If your child is struggling far more than their peers, it might be time to look into if they're experiencing difficulties like dyslexia. It can discourage kids from trying and reaching their true potential that they could with just a little help. Recognizing these challenges and hurdles is the first step to overcoming them. Here's how you begin to get your child to love reading so much that they seek out to do it. Be a role model. Reading is a social activity at the end of the day, and kids will always model what they see their parents do. Let me ask you a question. You're asking your child to read. When was the last time you picked up a book? I know I've been guilty of this. I recommend kids to read, and then I go home and play on my computer instead. If we want our kids to read, we need to be an active role model. We need to be reading in front of them as much as we can. This can be books, cookbooks, comics. We can pick books we know they'll be interested in, or even just read things for ourselves. This not only models kids that reading is something that you should choose to do, but it will help expose them to the world of literature available to them. This is also where things such as book clubs can come in handy. Kids are far more influenced by their peers than by their parents when it comes to what's cool. So if you can get a group of their friends together to all read at the same time, reading the same things, and get excited over it, they're going to love to come back to reading because it's paired with an exciting activity with their friend group. Next up is to create a cozy reading space. By developing an area of your house where the child knows to expect to read, they're more likely to actively start to do it without being told. This should be a comforting room with lots of soft pillows, blankets, and a shelf full of books that you already know they like. Kids are always happy to reread books. So having something comforting and easy for them in reach is a great way to kick off the reading session. Finally, using technology to your advantage. When I said to stop scrolling TikTok, I didn't mean to put down your phone altogether. If your child is struggling to read, some of the best tools available may be on the device that was distracting them to begin with. So if your child always seems to be on their phone, why not try installing some apps that promote reading instead? For example, Epic is a fantastic app with thousands of kid-friendly ebooks tailored to all reading levels. It's a great way to let children explore different genres and interests without committing to buying a physical copy. Next up is Libby. Libby is literally bringing a library into your home. Libby connects you to your local library's digital collection, making it easy for your child to borrow ebooks and audiobooks entirely for free. And for children struggling with dyslexia, Bookshare often offers ebooks in accessible formats perfect to help them begin reading. This is all without bringing up audiobook. Listening to stories counts as reading too. Apps like Audible or LibRox have millions of children's books at a tap that they can listen to while exploring the outdoors, helping you cook, or just relaxing on the couch. Next, be sure to tailor the experience to the child. Not all books are created equal, at least not for every reader. In fact, that's why a lot of classic books will have child-friendly versions in print for your child to start with. Look for series or authors that your child has already found themselves engaged with, and they'll be more likely to follow them and finish the series because they're already invested in the story. Another great option is to celebrate literature through their authors. Why not research the author who created a story that they love, and get your child engaged in learning about their history, impact, and maybe even some of the symbolism throughout. This is especially helpful with autobiographies or biographies. And don't forget the tried and true classic, bedtime stories. For the youngest kids, reading starts before they can even do it. Reading starts with you. Bedtime stories are a wonderful way to introduce literature to your child through a method that they'll love and understand. Reading together builds a lifelong bond and association. As they get to experience these adventures the characters do, reading isn't just a skill, it's a gift that keeps on giving. By making reading accessible, using technology wisely, and tailoring the experience to your child, you can help them discover the joy of reading. And remember, it's not about caging their curiosity, it's about encouraging it. So, how do you plan on encouraging your child to read? Let us know below, and we'll see you next week for even more tips on helping your child learn to love reading.